Hello, and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. This is episode 8, I believe, and last time we found out that all of the adults really need some money, really bad. So that's why things are going as they are. Everyone's broke. In some way or another, at least. Sorry about that. And we still didn't get the beach episode. I doubt we're actually gonna get to see the kids go to the beach at this point. Like, if we do, I think it'll be a miracle. But, I mean, I guess, let's read and find out. Let's begin. Quite an entertaining scheme. Well then, what are the conditions they've attached? Well, whether or not Kraus-sama actually discovers the gold, he'll pay Ava-sama, Rudolph-sama, and Rosa-sama a total of 7.5 billion yen for their shares. However, 10% of that will be paid before March. Kraus, you dunce. To think he would have his feet swept out from under him by his younger siblings. How truly amusing. But it sounds as though they tripped when going in for the kill. Yes? Oh, Cannon. You snitching, bro. Kraus-sama exposed the fact that Ava-sama and their younger siblings all have an urgent need to get money. Is there even any need to expose such obvious facts? That irresolute, incompetent man. What are they doing now? That conversation has been put on hold for the time being. Now Beatrice-sama's epitaph is being discussed. So they're trying to solve the riddle and find out where my gold is hidden? Yes. Kinzo set down his spectacles and snorted. Will the miracle be fulfilled first, or will those fools expose the gold first? What a show this will be. At the very moment those fools solve my puzzle, I will suffer utter defeat. They can suck my corpse down to the last fragment of bone. The greed of fools can allow great magic to bring forth a miracle. And yet, if the fulfillment of the miracle comes first, Beatrice will be resurrected again. The smile I have been chasing half my life will be restored. Oh, Beatrice, soon will come the sacred night when we shall bet upon a miracle, and the game of demons shall begin. I will surely prove triumphant and survive. I'll let you have the lives of all those others. I don't need wealth, or honor, or assets, or gold, or anything. All I want is to see your smile one last time. Cough, cough, cough. Kinzo choked, apparently in great pain. Cannon got closer and tried to pat his master's back, but Kinzo motioned him for him to stop. Do you know why I went to the trouble of exposing the hidden location of the gold in a place that everyone can see? No. It is because magical power is determined by risk. If the number of people who tried to discover Beatrice's gold is great, and the danger of them succeeding is great as well, then the power of magic will bring about a grand miracle if we succeed despite the odds. In other words, magic is a game. It is not the case that the one who performs the best becomes the victor. The victor performs the best because he has been granted magic. Do you see? It is similar to how the miracle of life can be granted only after winning against the divine odds of several 100 million to 1. Is this a little difficult for you? My apologies. That's fine. It all comes down to this. I will give all that I have built up to the one who solves the mystery of Beatrice's epitaph. Wealth, honor, gold, and the inheritance of the Ushiromiya family. Everything that I have established. My children certainly aren't the only ones with the right to attempt to solve this riddle. Anyone who solves the riddle will have the right to gain everything. Even you. Yes. However, I couldn't possibly understand such a difficult riddle. Of course, I made it difficult, but you must try to solve it as well. That will form the seed that summons the miracle of my magic. If everyone attempts it and everyone fails, that will be that. However, if the miracles come together and give birth to magical power, it will happen. Beatrice will revive. That is why you must attempt it too. Everyone must attempt it. And in so doing, they will give strength to my magic. Do you understand? Yes, I will try. For a long while, Kinzo repeatedly muttered to himself, agitated and clutching at his head. Canon stayed where he was, alert and unmoving, until he was given the next order from his master. Kinzo eventually realized this. Very well, leave me. There is a bag of sweets on the liquor cabinet. You can take some with you as a reward. I'm fine. After all, I am furniture. No, furniture doesn't eat sweets? Well, I suppose it stands to reason. In that case, leave me. Yes, excuse me. Well, I guess we can't say that Kinzo's an awful, horrible person. I mean, he did offer candy to a servant. That's kind enough, even if said servant is a little, brainwashed? I don't exactly know what to call what's going on with Canon. But, let's see what, we got going on. Oh, well, okay, we're still following him. I thought we were gonna get a different POV. Canon bowed and left the study. As the door closed, a heavy locking noise sounded out. Oh, now are we getting something? I just spoke too soon, my bad. I can never wait. Okay, oh, never mind, we're still not going. But it was not the sound of Canon locking the door. It was the door locking automatically, because we already went over Kinzo's locking mechanic earlier. Are we gonna hear about it again? No one could enter without Kinzo's permission, and once they left, they could not enter again. It was a mechanism that Kinzo, unable to trust his blood relatives, had created to seal himself up in his own study and isolate himself from the outside world. It appears so, where you get to hear about it once again. He was already unable to trust anyone, excepting not the children who shared his blood, but those servants who called themselves furniture. Ah, Nanjo. Oh, Kinji. Genji. Kenji? Who the fuck is Kinji? Genji! Nanjo-sama, how are you feeling? Ah, Genji-san. Oh, it's just that there's no place for me to be anymore. With a bitter laugh, Nanjo turned to face the door to the parlor. That look was apparently enough to tell Genji what Nanjo wanted to say. For the most part, Genji also understood the family situation. It must have made him want to frown, knowing that right now in the lounge, the master he served was being discussed so disrespectfully. But it would have been very difficult to gather that from his indifferent expression. Still, I don't understand. Why did Kinzo-san have something so provocative written, I wonder? Nanjo looked at the portrait of Beatrice. No, he actually directed his gaze beneath the portrait, at the plate with the epitaph. I honestly can't remember if we read the epitaph or not. Hold on. Do I... No, okay. I just want to know what's gonna show up here in the tips section. I really don't know. I'm curious, and I don't remember reading the epitaph. I'm sure we did. I just forgot because well, one, you know, I filmed these a week apart, and two, I have an awful memory. Let's see. I do not presume to understand the master's thoughts. However, I'm sure he had a deeper reason for doing so. Since long ago, when Kenzo-san played chess, he would always prepare his moves according to some far-reaching judgment. Yes, sometimes even to make moves I couldn't understand. For an average person like me, it was impossible to see through to whatever it was he was planning. Sometimes I wonder if this might be some kind of will in the master's eyes. Perhaps he wishes to hand over his wealth and title to the one who can understand it. So you're thinking he may have wanted the four siblings to work together and solve the riddle? Not in the slightest. Before some outsider like myself solved it? No. Kenzo-san may speak of his children in insulting terms, but perhaps he also wants them to repair their relationship. I doubt it. I think Genji doubts it too. It certainly would be heartwarming if, as Nanjo had suggested, this epitaph had been made to repair the siblings' relationship, so I was right. It wasn't. Bro just loves Beatrice. However, both Nanjo and Genji knew that nothing could be more impossible than this. They'd known Kenzo longer than anyone, and Kenzo trusted them more than his own relatives. But even they could not guess at his true motives. The master always says that everyone has the right to try and solve the riddle, even if they aren't a member of his family. What about you, Dr. Nanjo? No, it's a little too difficult a puzzle for this senile old man. Actually, I once wrote this epitaph down on my notebook. Night after night, I would try to solve it before going to sleep. But it really is hard. It looks like we might have some free time to relax and consider it before someone comes to get us. What do you say, Genji-san? I am nothing more than furniture in service to the master. Gold and assets are unnecessary to me. My, you're very modest. I imagine that's why Kenzo-san trusts you so much. No, because apparently every single member of the staff has gotten lobotomized except for Goda and, Kumasawa. If so, I am honored. As Nanjo lightly laughed in response, he once again looked at the epitaph. Confusion will be my epitaph. Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. The epitaph on the portrait called My Beloved Witch Beatrice goes as follows. Oh, here we go. So does that mean we did read it? Or we haven't read it? Behold the sweet fish river running through my beloved hometown. You who seek the golden land, follow its path downstream in search of the key. As you travel down it, you will see a village. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. There sleeps the key to the golden land. The one who obtains the key must then travel to the golden land in accordance with these rules. Are you sure it's a puzzle and not like a, treasure map? I mean, the island's big. Obviously, it's a huge island. Who's to say there isn't a sweet fish river running through it? I mean, it's not necessarily a hometown. Or it could be. But just, follow the river downstream. Find a village. It might not be like an actual village. It could be a metaphorical village. I don't know. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. On the second twilight, those who remain shall tear apart the 2 who are close. On the third twilight, those who remain shall praise my noble name. On the fourth twilight, gouge the head and kill. On the 5th twilight, gouge the chest and kill. On the 6th twilight, gouge the stomach and kill. On the 7th twilight, gouge the knee and kill. Okay, so all of these are oh, head, chest, stomach, and then knee? Okay. Oh, ow, my knee, no. On the 8th twilight, gouge the leg and kill. Again, okay. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. On the 10th twilight, at journey's end, ye shall attain to the power of the golden land's treasures, once and for the last time. It's a little morbid to put up in a family home, you know, in my humble opinion. But then again, I'm not rich, and I don't know any Beatrices, so maybe it'd be different. The witch shall praise the wise and bestow 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold from the Golden Land. One shall be the resurrection of all the dead souls. One shall be the resurrection of the love that was lost. One shall be put the witch to sleep for all time. Sleep peacefully, my beloved witch Beatrice. Curious. I can imagine that whatever I was saying earlier was the furthest thing from correct. I don't know how to find the key. Oh, time's moving. 3 p.m. or 2:30? 3 p.m. But, I imagine whatever I just predicted is the furthest from the truth. And those who are aware that watch this are probably laughing at my inane stupidity. This is nice. Wait, beach episode? Guys, it's happening. It's happening. We're on the beach! So in the tense twilight, the journey ends, and you reach the Golden Land. You really are diligent, Maria. You did a good job writing this all down. I forget a lot, so I always write things down. Mama told me to. There was a notebook inside the handbag Maria was always carrying around, and Beatrice's epitaph was copied onto it. Thanks to that, we were all able to challenge the puzzle of the epitaph while walking down this beach. Jessica and the rest had already tried to solve it several times, and had already gotten bored with it. However, since this was a first for me, I was so excited that I couldn't stop. It really tickled my sense of adventure. Let's start with the first line. Behold the Sweetfish River running through my beloved hometown. Where was grandfather's hometown again? I heard that before the war, the Ushiromiya family had a mansion near Odawara, which makes you want to know which Sweetfish River flows through Odawara, right? Yeah, because that river would be the starting place. Anyone searching for the Golden Land would head down and search for the key. Well, hold on. Wait, do we get to be like Maria and have the okay. Hold on. Okay. So, I think the issue is, what I'm getting from this, because, specifically it says, my noble name, if this is in reference to Beatrice, then, well, okay. See, I feel like this part, specifically comes from Beatrice, and the last part is Kenzo's edition. So maybe their fault is they're thinking of it from Kenzo's point of view and not Beatrice's. What if it's not his hometown? What if it's Beatrice's? Like, what if we're needing to look for her? Like, we need some more details on her, not Kenzo, because I mean, if they I probably sound crazy right now, but I'm just saying, maybe it's not Kenzo's hometown. Maybe this is, we just need to be looking at this from the Beatrix state of mind. Beatrice state of mind. I don't know. We'll see, I guess. What's this river in Hodawara? Does it have sweetfish swimming in it? If you're looking for sweetfish in Odawara, it'd have to be Hayakawa. It's famous for its mountain stream fishing. I hate fish. Maria, you'll understand when you get a bit older. Like salty roasted sweetfish. Yummy. Even though we just ate, I'm getting hungry again. So steroids, Battler. Shall I bring you a biscuit? Huh? Oh, sorry, that's not what I meant. Don't mind it. Shannon-chan was faithfully keeping us company, since she didn't have any afternoon chores for a while. I would have thought that, since she's a servant, accompanying us would force her to take care of us and tire her out, but that didn't seem to be the case for her. On the contrary, she seemed to enjoy joining in on the conversation with people close to her age. When I asked, I heard that she was the sort of worker whose room and board were supplied by her employer. So normally, the only person close to her in age was Jessica. Yeah, I can imagine how that might be pretty dull. Damn, Jessica catching strays. Okay, so I get that the sweetfish-filled river near Odawara is Hayakawa. In that case, we've got to go down it. Do you find anything if you head down Hayakawa River? If you follow it downstream, you'll arrive at the ocean. Of course, you'd reach the mouth of the river. And the third line of the epitaph was, as you travel down it, you will see a village. By the way, since long ago the mouths of rivers have been key points in transportation, and large cities tend to be built there, that'd be the next checkpoint. That's a pretty good theory. Just like you guessed, there's an old city there that was very prosperous in ancient times. That's where Odawara Castle is. I think I might have gone to Odawara Castle on a field trip once. You got field trips? It really was a wonderful castle. Yeah, I also went there. Even though I live in a Western-style house, it's true that Japanese people feel calmer with a Japanese layout. Ooh, castles are boring. Theme parks are better. Ooh. I see, okay. If we find the gold, the great battler Sama will generously reserve a whole theme park for a day and let you play in it. Still, Odawara Castle, huh? The hidden gold of Odawara Castle. Oh-ho? It's actually starting to sound pretty good. Well, we figured out that much 2 years ago. Okay, well, it's not that the gold is in the castle, it says the key to the Golden Land is in the castle, and once you get to the Golden Land, you'll get the treasure. Well, after all the Twilights. Does Twilight mean day? So like 10 days? It's a lot of days. The village down the river where the sweetfish swim in Odawara. We figured it was probably somewhere near Odawara Castle. Didn't you just say that? The problem is the next line. Okay, let's see where Battler's strange reasoning can take him. Jessica grinned broadly. She seemed to be implying that she would have solved this puzzle long ago if it was that easy. Damn it. I'll definitely find it and keep it all for myself. The fourth line. In that village, look for the shore the two will tell you of. 2. I don't know what it means by the 2, but anyway, the shore. What does it mean by the shore? No, wait. Is there any place near there with shore or kishi in its name? I've heard there's a place called Sugakishi in Odawara. Huh? Oh, you sure know a lot about it. What could that mean? Shannon-chan, are you trying to solve the riddle and get the gold too? That makes us rivals. It's not like I'm interested in gold. It's just that George Sama told me about it before. That's because we reached the same conclusion 2 years ago. We even went to the trouble of laying out a map and looking it up. There's about 5 kilometers to the north of Odawara. We definitely found a place called Sogakishi there. However, after that, we get stuck. The 5th line doesn't say where the key is hidden in that place. Maria-chan, could you read it for us? Oh, there sleeps the key to the Golden Land. I could read it. Sogakishi is probably large, and there wasn't ever any house built there by the Ushirmiya family. Not much we can do to find a key in such a vast area without any hints. You're right. And without the key, we can't advance to the next line. George and Iki, what kind of place is Sogakishi? Let's see. I've never been there, so I don't really know, but according to the map, it's in the mountains. I'm pretty sure it was at the base of Mount Asama. Something doesn't feel right. You'd expect a riddle pointing the way to the hidden gold to be a bit more exact. Maybe because it's not supposed to be exact and you've gotta, like, find out. I get the feeling that even the part about Sogakishi was a mistake. Well, I think it could be Sogakishi. It could be talking about some house that grandfather lived in when he was a kid that we don't know about. After all, the first line mentioned his beloved hometown. Shannon, you've served grandfather alcohol and stuff lots of times, right? Hasn't he ever talked to you about his past? The master almost never speaks of the past. However, he talks of the Great Kanto earthquake as though it was someone else's story. So he may have been living far away from the Kanto area. The Ushirmiya family may have been living in Odawara, but not all of the branch families were. Grandfather often called himself part of a branch family. The least connected to the successor. And that means the beloved hometown might not even be Odawara at all. I've never heard anything about grandfather's old hometown, and I doubt he'd actually tell me if I asked. If the so-called beloved hometown isn't referring to the Ushirmiya family's roots, then the Odawara theory is wrong from the beginning. Of course, this doesn't completely remove the possibility that it was Sogakishi. For example, perhaps he lived in Odawara when he was very young, but then moved far away later. I don't understand what you're all talking about. Maria had been completely left out of the conversation, and she now sat puffing out her cheeks in boredom. Okay, but again, back with my Beatrice hometown theory. Kenzo had to have picked Rokenjima for a reason. Are we sure? Are we like 1,000,009,000,000% sure that the river is on Rokenjima somewhere? I mean, they've talked about how they haven't really explored it because, they were warded off by the stories and stuff, but there could be a Sweetfish River, and honestly, maybe there's an old city somewhere in Rokenjima. Oh gosh, when we actually find this out, I'm gonna feel so stupid because of how wrong I definitely am. So basically, if we can't even agree on the starting point for this dice game of gold, we're totally stuck. But wait. After the first 5 lines, the thing we end up finding is a key, right? Even if you don't have a key, it's always possible to bust through a door. Can't we just skip the first 5 lines and start figuring out the rest? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. Oh well, we're just wasting time anyway. Let's hear the rest of Battler's reasoning. But in the next part, it gets dark really fast. Shannon frowned slightly. After looking back at Maria's notebook to recall what was written there, yeah, I was forced to agree. On the first twilight, offer the 6 chosen by the key as sacrifices. It sure does get horrible quickly. On the second twilight, it says to tear apart the 2 who are close. Does that mean to make them break off their loving relationship? Or, or does it mean to literally tear them apart? Yeah. I don't know, but either way, it's pretty disgusting. Even if we set that second line aside, it mentions 6 people for the first twilight. Did we add up how many people it mentions? Then 5 people for the 4th through 8 twilights. Oh, so that's 11. So at least 11 people must be sacrificed. I had a morbid thought. Oh. Hey. Uh-oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, that's at the very least. There are 7 other people on the islands, but if we just count the family excluding Kenzo, it's not looking very good for him. Who? Their sacrifices to revive Beatrice! Oh, Maria, please don't sound so thrilled. I see! Sacrifices to restore the witch. Yeah, that's what it'd mean. Near the end, the witch will be revived on the 9th twilight. That last part is guaranteed. On the 9th twilight, the witch shall revive, and none shall be left alive. So everyone will die in the end. And after that, the 10th twilight is the goal line. Not sure how you're supposed to reach the Golden Land if everyone's dead by then. Depending on how you interpret it, the traveler who holds the key may or may not be included in the none shall be left alive part. But at the end, there's something pretty interesting. The 4 gifts. It's the money, the revival, the love thing, and something about the Golden Land? Hold on. Well, actually, let me see if he mentions it first. After reaching the goal, the witch gives out 4 treasures. One shall be all the gold, yep. The problem is the next one. It says the dead souls will be resurrected, right? Doesn't that sound like it means everyone who died in the earlier lines? If you put it like that, then the part about reviving lost love might refer to the pair torn apart on the 2nd twilight. That's right. And the 4th one refers to the 9th twilight. The 4th putting the witch off forever. Yeah, the witch revived on the 9th twilight to sleep. If we put a happy spin on all this, it'll be hectic with people dying and breaking up all over the place, but it'll make right in the end. The awakened witch will sleep again, and everything will be like it was at the start, except with a huge pile of gold. And no more witch. The witch must be pretty busy, what with all the killing, reviving, breaking up, and reuniting people. Well, I think we should stop saying breaking up. I think we should refer to it in the terminology of tearing apart, because yeah, you're looking at it from a more positive spin, but I have a feeling that's not the witch's intent. Not to mention waking up and sleeping. Sheesh, just when the tale of the hidden gold was getting interesting, it all gets pretty dubious once the witch starts showing up. Yeah, gosh, Beatrice. Too true. I laughed along with Jessica. After all, the idea of a witch was just too ridiculous. Guys, Maria's right there. Of course, once we started laughing like that, Maria, who believed in the witch, got angry. Guys. Oh, the witch is incredible. She can do anything with magic. Even kill. Even bring back to life. Even give love. Even take it. She can fly in the sky, can become invisible, can even make gold and bread out of nothing. Oh. Jesus? Oh. Dang. My bad, we were just joking. Jessica apologized, sticking out her tongue, but Maria didn't accept. She grabbed her notebook back out of my hands and, opening to some other pages, tried to prove that the witch existed. Those pages had colorful drawings of witches on them, and well conveyed the fantastical image Maria had of witches. It wasn't a normal sinister image of a crooked-nosed hag flying around on a broom, but a dreamlike person with unnatural powers who could do anything and wore a beautiful dress. It was just what you'd expect from an imaginative young girl. Footing through the sky, crossing a rainbow, dancing around all night with a teacup and a teapot that would never get empty no matter how much you poured out of it. With a flourish of her staff, the stars in the sky would become candy and pour down, and flowers that produced sweets would bud by the roadside. To Maria, witches were the only concept that could embody the magical dream that so captivated her. As she grew older, it was the last remaining thing that could give riches to her dull and plain everyday life. That's why Maria believed in witches. She didn't want that dream of hers to be tarnished. That's why she didn't want anyone to tarnish the epitaph, which affirmed the existence of witches. Because the witch named Beatrice is Maria's dream. To Maria Chan, the epitaph isn't a guide to the hidden gold, but magic to revive the witch. So it was the single link between Maria and the witch. Maria was very angry and clung to George and Iki. Jessica and I scratched our heads and apologized. It might not be possible to smooth things over again like the time she got mad in front of the portrait. Maria didn't seem willing to be easily consoled. Unlike Jessica and I, who hung our heads wondering what to do, Shannon Chan timidly opened her mouth.
Maria-sama, did you know there's a ghost story about Beatrice that has been passed down among the servants?
Who? Yeah, that's right. Shannon, tell us about it. I don't really know. It's apparently pretty famous among the servants. What is this? A ghost story? Yes. It seems it's a story from before we were born. I also heard about it from my mother.
Yes. It has been passed down since the time of the mansion's construction. The servants of that time whispered that the mansion had two masters, one of the day and one of the night.
The tale that Shannon told us was just like a typical campfire ghost story. There was a forest with a witch living inside of it. And of course the witch would come pay the mansion a visit from time to time. At some point, this ghost story naturally sprouted up between the servants.
When people do the rounds a second time to check doors, windows, and locks that were originally closed, they'd find some of them left open. Lights that were supposed to be off were turned on, and lights that were supposed to be on went out. Things left lying around would disappear, and things would appear when no one had any memory of putting them there. When any of these things happened, the old servants would say that the witch had visited the mansion, invisible, and was playing pranks. Ooh, see, she exists! Beatrice exists!
Yeah, she exists. Long ago, it was always right before leaving school that I wasn't able to find my bag and stuff. Maria puffed out her chest with an ooh, as though this was final proof of the witch's existence. If I opened my mouth, Maria would probably be hurt again, so I didn't. Wow, guys, I think this is a monumental moment in history in which Battler uses his common sense for the first time ever. I mean, you hear this kind of story everywhere. Depending on the place, they might blame it on a dwarf or an elf. The only difference is that they call it a witch on this island. Of course, walking around a vast, elegant mansion at night would be a little unsettling. It's an island devoid of people. Since the mansion is so drafty, walking around on the night of a thunderstorm would certainly be eerie.
In addition, some servants have also seen will-o'-the-wisps and glittering butterflies dancing around.
Wow, it's like heaven official's blessing with the butterflies. Shout out to my TGCF fans. Shout out to my MXTX fans.
Canon-kun also saw something like that when he went patrolling one night. Recently, you often hear servants talking about strange footsteps heard inside the mansion near midnight. We've whispered together that the Beatrice-sama in the portrait sometimes makes herself invisible and walks through the mansion. Happened a while ago. But even I had heard footsteps while patrolling at night that resemble these stories.
Whew. That's scary.
Ah, but there's nothing to be afraid of. Beatrice-sama is another ruler of this mansion, separate from the master. So there's no need to be unnaturally afraid. If you respect her, then I hear she won't do anything bad.
Yeah, Battler. If you respect her, Battler. You know what respecting her includes, Battler? It means believing she exists. I know. It's a really crazy concept, but it's the truth. However, she can be quite terrifying if you don't respect her, right?
Correct. I've heard that just before I began working here, someone who spoke badly about Beatrice-sama fell down the stairs and quit after receiving a large injury to their back. Because of that, there was a rumor between the servants that Beatrice-sama's anger had been brought down upon this person.
Huh.
Ooh. Anger will definitely be brought down on Battler and Jessica.
Oh. I actually don't want to hear that right now, Maria. I'm sorry. I don't want her anger brought down upon me. My bad, my bad. Apologize, Maria. Of course. I also apologize to the witch. Say your name, Battler. I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Please forgive an outsider's nonsense. It's been 6 years. I've lost my mind. I'll apologize as well. Sorry, Beatrice-sama. Will the witch be able to forgive us now?
I don't know. Witches are fickle, so they forgive when they want to and don't when they don't.
Oh, that's reassuring. That's no good. Maria-chan, isn't there some kind of good luck charm that could prevent Battler-kun and Jessica-chan from suffering Beatrice-sama's wrath? Maybe, potentially, hopefully. Maybe something that can block against magic? By relying on Maria, who is proud of knowing the most about the witches, George is trying to revive her self-esteem that we so ruthlessly crushed by accident. Once again, I've got to admire his ability to calm kids down. After taking a moment to cross her arms and seriously ponder whether there might be a charm that could save us, Maria shook her head said, "Nope, they're screwed." She started flipping through the pages in her notebook. Oh. I thought it was just a scribbled diary. But, clearly underestimate the passions of a little girl. There also seemed to be quite a few pages that looked like they come from a book on black magic. Oh, that's reassuring. Maria solemnly considered a group of these pages, which contained things that looked like magic circles. Oh. Apparently, grandfather wasn't the only one with a black magic hobby. And you'd think that he'd like Maria the most. But no, he just sees her as a little freak. When Maria finally found what she was looking for, she snapped the notebook shut and threw it into her handbag. She then began fishing through that bag's contents. There seemed to be various jumbled up things in there. After a while, she took out various pieces of junk, although they were probably important magical junk or items to Maria, and repeatedly threw them back in, saying they were wrong. It was all a little humorous, just like when Doraemon took out the wrong tool. Finally, she seemed to discover what she was looking for. With a face that was unimaginably cheery when compared to the intense expression she had worn until now, she held those out to Jessica and me. I grabbed it and saw that it was a very cheap-looking charm. It looked like a bracelet made from a plastic rosary, with a scorpion-themed medal attached. Haven't you ever seen those cheap Zodiac-themed accessories? Yeah. I have a necklace. It's a Gemini necklace because that's my sign. And it's literally just a, cheap gold necklace with a cheap gold charm on it. It's something. The kind you might win in a crane game at an arcade. It really looked like something like that, and I really doubt it's actually going to protect us, but well, we'll take it. There were 2 of them. Probably one for me and one for Jessica. However, the very fact that there were 2 of them made them feel even more like cheap, manufactured goods, making it pretty hard to think of them as magical items.
You're giving these to me and Battler? No! With these chairs, you don't even need to worry about Beatrice. Because scorpions have the power to ward off magic.
Really? Didn't know scorpions could do that.
Jessica, what the fuck? Battler doesn't believe.
Battler, I was just reading it because I thought I was reading his line that way because I thought it was funny, but no, I'm guessing he actually delivered it similar to my version because he is not hiding that. I'd said too much and angered Maria again. God damn it. Maria took out her notebook again.
God, Battler, I'm gonna need to find you another one. Oh my gosh, Battler, I don't have just stuff to give out to you all willy-nilly.
Pointing out various pages as she went on and on about how the scorpion had such incredible holy power that it had been used in magic-repelling magical circles since ancient times.
I've heard about that from some of the other young servants. Something about how the scorpion is drawn as a magic-repelling symbol in sorcery.
Huh, really?
Ooh! The scorpion protects against bad magic and calamity. An emerald brings peace to the heart. Therefore, its effects are twofold.
It's true. The scorpion wraps around the emerald and protects it. Yes, that certainly does sound like it'd work well. I really wanted to make fun of those worthless-looking charms, Battler. But as I watched Maria explaining with all of her heart and realized that she'd found them for our sakes, I started to feel like it might actually work, even if it was just a prize from some game censor. The material quality of the charm didn't matter. What mattered was the strength of her feelings and the intent, you know. Even if I don't think of myself as the sort of loser who'd laugh at something like that. Okay, thank you. I apologize to Beatrice on that, but even if I do end up getting cursed, I'll be safe now thanks to Maria's charm. Right, Jessica? Yep, that's right. Thanks, Maria.
Wear it on your arm when you want your heart to be at peace. Put it in your wallet and your money won't decrease. If you hang it from a doorknob, bad things can't get in. It's a really convenient charm. What an incredible effect. If Maria Selma gives it her confident seal of approval, then surely it must be reliable.
Shannon Chan clapped her hands together, and Maria stuck out her chest. She was totally in a good mood again. It's probably best if we let her lead the conversation a bit longer, if it'll keep her in such a good mood. Come to think of it, she looked a bit bored when we were getting excited about the hidden gold, probably because she couldn't keep up. While eating the cookies Kumasawa-san had baked, Jessica and I asked Maria this and that about black magic. Maria happily chatted away in response to our questions. Each time, George Aniki and Shannon Chan would act surprised or chime in. The clouds in the sky grew darker and darker, but we cousins enjoyed our communicating freely after a year of separation. But then, the sky opened up and Beatrice came floating down. Did I just feel a drop on my forehead? Huh? I wonder. As George Aniki rubbed his forehead, he looked up at the sky. Considering the color of the sky and the dampness of the air, it wouldn't have been odd for a raindrop to hit him. The wind also seemed to have grown a bit stronger.
I didn't feel a drop. I didn't.
Don't worry, neither did I. Anyway, I'm sure it'll rain so much tonight that everyone will get to feel plenty of raindrops. That's right. Maybe we should head back soon. Shannon Chan looked down at her watch. It was probably well into the evening by now. Is it already time for you to return to your work?
Yes. Thank you very much for allowing me to enjoy some time together with you all.
Tell Kumasawa-san thanks for the cookies. Okay, everyone, help out with the cleanup. Shannon-chan declined our help, saying that this was a servant's job. But picking up dropped forks before the waitress has to is pretty much my purpose in life. We folded up the blanket, gathered up the trash, and helped clean everything up.
The trash is getting away!
I won't let it escape. I'll grab it before Maria does.
Ooh, I'll grab it.
Maria, don't get your shoes wet. You'll get in trouble. To Maria, chasing after some trash sent flying by the powerful winds was just another game. By the time we finished, the wind was blowing pretty strongly. Probably a good time to head back.
You've all helped me out a lot. Thank you very much.
It looks like you're really out of time. It's okay if you head back first. George and Nikki perceived from her hurried appearance that very little of her free time was left. Kenji-san's very strict about time. If you don't show up where you're supposed to be at the right time, I bet he'll be pissed. We'll see you later. Do your best with your work.
Yes. Then if you'll excuse me.
After making a respectful bow, Shannon-chan ran towards the rose garden. Okay, let's head back to the guest house. We can watch TV or something, relax a little.
Ooh, wanna watch TV! Wanna watch TV! Ooh.
Then it's decided. Let's all head back and watch TV together. Maria, who wasn't done having fun, agreed once television was mentioned. We climbed up the gentle stairs and returned to the rose garden. And now that we've reached the rose garden, I think it's safe to say this is where I'll end the episode. We finally got the beach episode we desired, and I got the confirmation on what the epitaph is, because we did not go over it actually, and now we know what it says, and I have absolutely no clue what it means. But that is quite alright. That is just fine. I'm sure we're gonna learn soon enough. I'm sure something's gonna happen. Maybe we'll get to meet the witch Beatrice. I'd like to meet her. We all know I'd like to meet her, I think. But, yeah, I'd say it was much more lighthearted episode. Excluding, I guess, the, first, 15 minutes? I don't know. But, thanks for watching. Hope to see you again next week, and, bye!